Hello everyone, this is Dana Anuel M. Canonico, a third-year student of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Mathematics. I will be presenting to you the things I learned from one of our subject, which is Math 134. The topic I have learned was under number theory. These are the theorems that are applications of congruences. Under these theorems that are application of congruence, these are the Wilson, Euler, and Fermat's theorem of congruence. The first topic of the application of congruences in number theory is the Wilson theorem. Theorem 29 of Wilson theorem states that if p is a prime number, then p divides p minus 1 factorial plus 1. Example. Explain why 17 factorial is congruent to 1 modulo 19. We know that 18 factorial is congruent to negative 1 modulo 19. Hence, dividing both sides by 18 congruent to negative 1 modulo 19, we conclude that 17 factorial is congruent to 1 modulo 19. In this problem, we follow the case of p minus 2 factorial is congruent to 1 modulo p. Theorem 30 of Wilson theorem. This states that if m is a positive integer with m is greater or equal to 2, such that m minus 1 factorial plus 1 is congruent to 0 modulo m, then m is prime.
Example.
We want to know the remainder of 149 factorial and is divided by 139. We know that 138 factorial is congruent to negative 1 modulo 139. So 149 factorial is congruent to 149 times 148 times 147 times 146 times 145 times 144 times 143 times 142 times 141 times 140 times 139 times negative 1 modulo 139. 149 factorial congruent to 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 0 times negative 1 modulo 139. 149 factorial is congruent to 0 modulo 139. Therefore, the remainder when 149 factorial is divided by 139 is 0. The second topic of the application of congruence in number theory is the Euler's theorem. Euler's theorem states that if m is a positive integer and a is an integer such that a and m is equals to 1, then a to the phi of m is congruent to 1 modulo m. Example. We find the last digit of 7 raised to 2013. Since the phi times 10 is equals to 4, to find 7 raised to 2013 modulo 10, we find 2013 modulo 4 is equals to 1. So 2013 is congruent to 7 raised to 1 is equals to 7 modulo 10. The third topic of the applications of congruence of number theory is Fermat's theorem, which states that if p is a prime number and a is positive integer with p does not divide a, then a raised to p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. There are two theorems under this, which is the theorem 32 that states if p is a prime number and a is a positive integer, then a raised to p is congruent to a modulo p. This theorem says that the remainder of a raised to p when divided by p is the same as the remainder of a when divided with p. The theorem 33 states Theorem 33. This states that if P is a prime number and A is an integer such that P does not divide A, then A raised to P minus 2 is the inverse of modulo P. Example. Find 7 raised to 222 modulo 11. By Fermat's little theorem, 7 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 11. So 7 raised to 10 times k is congruent to 1 modulo 11 for every positive integer k. Therefore, 7 raised to 222 is equal to 7 raised to 22 times 10 plus 2 is equals to 7 raised to 10 raised to 22 times 7 raised to 2, congruent with 1 raised to 22 times 49, which is also congruent to 5 modulo 11. Hence, 7 raised to 222 modulo 11 is equals to 5. The number 2 raised to 1000 is divided by 13. What is the remainder? We know that 2 raised to 12 is congruent to 1 modulo 13. So we first take out as many factors of 2 raised to 12 as possible. We can write 1000 as 83 times 12 plus 4, which is another way of saying that 1000 is congruent to 4 modulo 12. So 2 raised to 1000 is equals to 2 raised to 12 times 83 plus 4 is equals to 2 raised to 12 times 83 times 2 raised to 4 is equals to 16, which is congruent to 3 modulo 13. I learned about how important it is to search for legit and reliable resources if you really want to learn this information about what you want to do. This will not only help you learn immediately, but also help you stay on the topic you really are studying. Watching YouTube videos is also helpful because at least we could see or visualize the solution and steps to take in solving for the answer in a problem. In conclusion, learning is analyzing, understanding, and gathering data. That is all. Thank you.